Hello and welcome to this week's edition of The Mediator with me, your host, Brian West, here to give you your top 8 comedy stories and headlines that made it throughout the week. Now remember, the stories are real, but the jokes are on me. They're on the house, only made to entertain and inform. There may be some truth in some of the jokes, but most of them are only made, for that matter, just to entertain and to inform. Now remember, none of these jokes or stories are made to offend or harm anyone. They're only made for the love of the game, to entertain and to inform once again. Now let's get to the top 8 stories that made it throughout the Mediator this week. Story number 1, Real Housewives star charged with battery on an officer in Florida. The report says star Luann de Lesseps, she was arrested in Florida. I guess the actress was charged with battery of an officer and disorderly intoxication. Misbehaving. She was also charged with resisting arrest and corruption for threatening a public servant. She later apologized for her behavior and wants everyone to understand the pressure of dealing with emotions in regards to a divorce. So I guess she's battling with some mental concerns after I guess going through a divorce. The report also claimed that she kicked a police officer and she said that she was going to kill them all. Now, folks, I want you to understand that as a mediator, I often wonder about the police and the public. I often get concerned, even in my own daily activities and driving, and wondering if I too am going to be pulled over. But I've learned to develop a bond in my relationship with the cops. So after reading this story, I decided to call 911 just to check on them, to develop a relationship, to let them know who I am. And I invited them over, So when they showed up at the house, I humbly submitted, put my hands up, got on my knees, and I began to sing the Star-Spangled Banner. And folks, as I began to sing, me being the mediator and them being the police, they begin to cry, and we begin to cry together, and they begin to sing along. And after the altercation, I invited them in to watch the game and old reruns of The Real Housewives. And I told them that everything would be all right. I informed them that if they needed anyone, to call the mediator. There's some substance in that story. But the truth of the matter is that at the end of the story, they had to leave with their billy clubs and their guns. And mediation was over. And they went on to pull over their next contestant to be threatened and called pigs once again. Let's all join hands and sing Kumbaya for the sake of the future of the police force. God bless America. Vote for the mediator for the next election. You won't lose out on your vote. Story number 2. Spectators wondering about President Trump and Russian relationships. Now, this is an amazing story, I guess. After being accused of collusion, spectators and outside analysts are noticing an unusual relationship between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, this is after the Trump administration reportedly decided to give Ukraine anti-tank weapons to help in its fight against Moscow-backed militias. Now, this is also after Russia violated de-conflict agreements in Syria, and there was some other, and even after the other strange activities that were going on the computer, when the cyber warfare news story hit the news networks, saying that Russia was basically tampering with countries' elections. So Russia has been making a lot of headlines this year. Now, just the other day, I want to remind you that Trump stated that it would be great if the two countries could work together And after the CIA provided some intelligence to Russia and prevented a terrorist plot that was being plotted against the country. So Russia continues to make headlines and continues to make the news, leaving people wondering what is really going on in Washington. I mean, just this year, too, there was also some spy ships reportedly seen on the coast of the United States, Russian spy ships. So there's just some serious things happening in the skies and across the world when it comes to the United States and Russia. And over there on the East Coast, people are just wondering what's going on. We can only be wondering if President Trump and Vladimir Putin could also be colluding with Agent Scully and Agent Mulder to bring back the X-Files. Could they be colluding to rig the elections of the world while also destroying the reputation of the NFL and secretly bringing back the XFL with Vince McMahon? Is it aliens that could be sending out Trump tweets? Could this all be some made-up story just to keep us all entertained in the theater of politics? Leaving us wondering, why is Dennis Rodman buddies with Kim Jong-un? One of these things do not belong here. Tell me how to get to Sesame Street. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. If I only had a brain. I have no clue where we're headed. Story number 3. A package filled with manure sent to U.S. Treasury Secretary. Like I said, mediation can be tough. The jokes are only made to entertain, but the stories are real. Sometimes I too read the stories and I don't know where we're headed, but we're going somewhere. That's all that matters. Now let's get to story number 3. After sending out the bomb squad, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin is on the radar again because someone left a package filled with manure in his neighbor's driveway addressed to him. Now, Mr. Mnuchin was not at home at the time of the incident. Like I said, folks, when you read these top 8 stories and the top stories that made it into the Mediator, just all throughout the whole news, we can't help as citizens of every country and every nation to wonder, where are we headed when we see these things? You know, who's hiding what, who's doing what, and why are citizens addressing a package from the people and sending a package that says filled with manure to the Treasury Secretary? Somebody must know something that we all don't know. Looking on the outside, we always wonder, what is going on? But if we actually knew what was going on in the fine print and under the rug in the details, sometimes it can be a little enlightening, especially when you see groups protesting and putting bombs and threatening the president. No one can help but wonder what is going on and why are these things happening. Now, in Mnuchin's case, I guess he was not at his home because he was auditioning to play Judas at the staging of The Last Supper before the next government shutdown. Don't worry, there's no word on whether or not President Trump will be playing Jesus. The moral of the story, folks, is that we're all looking for a savior. But the true hero is the mediator. Let's continue. Story number 4. A man with drugs mistakes a police car for a taxi. A Danish man with a reported 1,000 joints on him mistakes a police car for a taxi. The report says the police gladly escorted him to jail. Sources say the man also tried to get out of jail with a Monopoly get out of jail free card. Good luck with that. Story number 5. Another vandalized Confederate statue. A Confederate statue in Georgia was vandalized at a cemetery at a cost of $200,000. Now, the report says the hands of the statue were cut off, sawed off, and the face was bashed in. Now, this as the country debates on whether to continue to preserve the history of the Confederate monuments. Now, at this moment, the police department in Rome City, Georgia, do not have any leads, but they are investigating. Some residents say they notice LeBron James equality shoe prints in the dirt. They have a hard time finding a suspect since the NBA star has so many fans. Story number 6. The Dow may have had its best year since 2013. Finally, maybe having some good news. The reports say that the Dow may have had its strongest year since 2013 with the excitement about the Republican tax overhaul and a lowering of the corporate tax rates along with the bonuses of returning profits from overseas. So this could be the longing spark that we needed to fuel the economy. People are still holding their breath and waiting to see what this tax cut will do to not only the economy but the future of America. So people are just wondering that no one really knows what's going to happen with these tax cuts and the tax overhauling plans, but people can only hope for the best. Now, in all the hype, people are scouting out spots under the bridge just in case. Don't get too excited. Story number 7 and the final 2 stories that made it into the media this week. Didn't think I would get this far. I'm almost through 2018. It's been a long year. Walmart making the news. Now, Walmart may give its employees the option of an early payday with early payday withdrawals. Now, putting its competitors to the test, not only just the competitors, but this is a test that may change a lot of companies if this succeeds and Walmart does not fail at this venture that they've taken. Now, it looks that Walmart is looking to try something different. I guess they will be assisting their employees in regards to giving them early payday withdrawals if they request them when going through hardship instead of having to go to payday lenders. Now, no company I don't think has tried this or ever tried this. If I haven't seen the report, I don't think any company's ever tried this before. So Walmart may be trying something new that may change the way employees are paid. So we'll see how this unfolds. Could there be a ripple effect? Now, rumor has it that they will also be turning up the music around 9 a.m. at their stores while converting their customer care centers into bars. Now, the stores will be open 24 hours, but Club Walmart will only stay open until 2 a.m. Story number 8, folks, and the final story that made it into the Mediator this week. It's been a long year. And mediation can be tough, but somebody's got to do it. It says there will be some reports circulating in 2018. Story number 8 reads that the White House concerned about 2018. Now, folks, everybody is concerned about 2018. Now, it's been a long ride through mediation, and it's been a long year. But not only are citizens concerned about 2018, but the White House is also concerned. Now, the report says, or there are reports circulating about the RNC being concerned about the midterm elections. Now, some feel that they are not as prepared as they should be for the next election. Now, that includes getting Trump reelected if the Republicans or the House or just the people choose to keep him as president after his term is up. This is only his first year through office. Now, there's also concerns that due to the controversy that surrounded candidate Roy Moore, who had been seeking a seat in Alabama, that some party members may be seeking their own interest. A lot of people are concerned about the activity that is going on in Washington, not only Americans, but the world. And we are all concerned about the relationship that is stirring up within just domestic policy and just domestic relations. So this may be a pivotal year. It has already been a year since Trump has been in office, and already we've seen this year has been unbelievable. We've had church massacres. We've had things happen that has never happened on U.S. soil before. We've had Confederate statues being knocked down, racial relationships, Democrats and Republicans fighting it out. I want to remind you that George Washington himself, even though he did own slaves and everything else, but that time frame was totally different from today. But politicians then were worried about the two-party systems, and they were worried that the candidates would more be focused on winning rather than the American people. So we've reached that stage in America where our future, maybe there is some concerns about our future. Now, also in the report, I guess, after people's main concern is that no matter what the case, and in 2018, people are wondering, is it worth going to the polls, and is it worth seeking out a good candidate? Now, I developed a plan to get through 2018, and I developed some warnings. Now, the first warning, folks, is that if you start noticing people that you've never met before hugging and shaking your children's hands while asking for your support, this may be the first sign that someone wants to use your money to get a job. Warning number one. Another warning and another caution is that odd relationships with people that you used to be friends with. This is the first sign that politicians are present. And one last tip to stay alert for in 2018 is that if someone says that they need your life jacket and pushes you in the water, there's a good chance that that person is only trying to save his life and not yours. I want to wish you the best of luck in 2018. And I want to thank you so much for tuning into the media this week. Remember, if you want to show us some support, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and go to our website by buying something, clicking something, or just watching something. I want to wish you all the best of luck in 2018 and have a happy and prosperous new year. I'll see you around the corner. Thank you so much for tuning into The Mediator this week with Brian West on the state of the economy and the state of the United States. Still in the balance. Good luck in 2018 and heed the warning signs in story number 8. Good luck. Have a good week, everybody, and thank you for tuning to The Mediator with me, Brian West.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.